Another very useful form of compression is multi-band compression. And to illustrate what that exactly is, I'm going to go to the beats here. And for my example, I will need to be able to see the spectrum. And as you can see, the analyzer is divided into multiple bands. There's 1 band, 2 band, 3, and 4 bands, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's low, low mids, high mids, and high. And let's go play the beats for a second so we can actually have a look at what's going on in the spectrum. And as expected, there's a lot of energy in the low end. It's quite a dip in the low mids. The high mids are pretty straight. And then there's a clear roll off in the high frequencies. Now, what if I could take each band and compress that separately from the others? That would be nice. You know, instead of a compressor that looks at the entire signal. And that is, of course, what multi-band compression is. There's a really good one in Ableton Live, a multi-band compressor. It's called Multi-Band Dynamics. Let me put that on there. And the bands we just talked about are reflected in here. This is a band, this is a band, and this is a band. So we get high, mids, and lows. You can listen to each band separately. If I click solo here, you only solo the low band. Right? And maybe I want to compress just this band a bit. Now putting my cursor over this block here and then dragging it up changes the ratio. And if I drag the block to the left or right, that changes the threshold. See, if I drag it up, it gets compressed more. Back down and there's less compression. So we just compress the low band a bit. Output, that's like the makeup gain in the other compressor. So I can make up for the loss in level. So this gives you a lot of control over the sound of your compression. Let's compress the mids a bit. And the highs. So we've divided the sound into 3 bands and compressed those separately. Let's compare that. Let's compare that to the glue. It's almost inevitable that you lose a bit of low end in this type of compression, wideband compression. Yeah, I think I like this more. If I want, I can choose between RMS compression and peak compression. The glue is a typical peak compressor, by the way. This is where I can turn off the compression per band, so I'm not turning off the entire band, but just the compression. Or I can take out the entire band. So now it's a 2-band compressor, and now it's a wideband compressor, just like the glue. The attack and release for each band is in this column over here. Let me turn those back on. And over here we get to choose the global amount of compression. So now it's no compression. If I turn it to the right, I get more compression throughout all bands. And guess what? They have done it. The people at Ableton have given us sidechain compression in the multi-band dynamics. You don't see that a lot, so that is fantastic. I think I'm gonna go with this for the beats. Instead of the glue, traditional bus compression. This really brings out the energy, so I'm gonna go for this. Oh, by the way, you can even change the global times of all attacks and releases with one knob too. That is very clever. That's pretty obvious what we're going to choose. Multi-band compression with the multi-band dynamics for the beats.